The Rats being inducted.
Amazing.
Punk rock band.
Yep.
How could that happen? Congratulations.
I don't know, but thanks. Brainstorm of, I think, Terry Courier, I think. So, thanks, Tara.
After all this time, it's nice.
Yeah, 40 years.
40 years. Must feel like, okay, the time has come.
It's great to get the recognition, and it was one of the bands that my husband Fred Cole started that really he thought was going to do something, and it meant the world to him at the time, and it just kind of never did. It served its purpose and got us from there into Dead Moon, which is pretty much how we made our mark. But a lot of amazing material was written that is still, even though it's 40 years old, you listen to it, and it's still pretty damn timeless. It's amazing.
Well, a nod to Fred Cole, by the way, who we lost almost a year ago.
Yep, it's almost.
In November.
Yep.
On November 3rd.
Yep.
9th. November 9th. We lost him on November 9th. I remember that really well.
Mm-hmm.
Not the date, but certainly
the time.
The time, yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
The Rats were known for their Ramones-inspired kind of sound of Blueprint. Dead Moon, another iteration fronted by Fred. But born out of that turn of the decade, 1980, the year punk really came on strong. I mean, it had been cooking at CBGB's in New York through the 70s, with the Ramones being regulars there in the confines of New York City. But it caught fire here in Portland. It did. It was
kind of like the perfect storm in a weird way. There just happened to be enough really young, creative kids. There happened to be a music store like Captain Wizzigles, which we had. There happened to be a person in the background like Mark Stanley, we know as Stan, who helped get all ages venues together and kind of helped organize the kids that were trying to do something, and it just created an amazing scene that I realized after traveling a lot was really unique to Portland, and I don't, it's amazing that it happened here, and it was incredible to be a part of it.
Well, during the 80s, so much changed in terms of what kind of music could even be played. Some places you couldn't dance there because of OLCC regulations, all kinds of things. And imagine having an all-ages club.
Well, there was lots of them in Portland at that particular point.
Yeah, very, very
which
important.
Was pretty much, brought it back into the free-for-all that I remember growing up in the in the 60s when everything was all age. It's like we were all too young to do anything else. So there was a million all-age clubs, which I'm sure Roger Hart remembers, that used to have kids and, coming out every weekend, all, whatever, having a scene happening. So.
How was it that you, Toody, Fred taught you
how to play bass?
How to play bass.
Yeah, he started out, actually, that was his first instrument when he first started playing in a cover band called The Lords, and so before he was even lead singing, so he pretty much taught me, and he was not just a songwriter but a composer, so he could actually hear the drum parts, the bass parts, everything in his head of what he wanted that song to sound like, and pretty much had all that written, and just showed me how to do it, and over the years I got good at it.
Did you ever think that you were going to be a musician?
No, please. No, I was, I don't know, around 30, a little over 30 when I first started playing bass. So yeah, it was kind of the last thing. I pretty much just figured I'd do it just to appease him, figuring that was going to last for a couple of weeks and whatever. But no, it stuck, and thank God it did, because the bug bit me too, and once I got up on stage and actually felt comfortable with it, was no getting over it at that point.
You were not one of those people that at the tender age of 5 or 6 thought, oh, I'm going to be
No.
I'm going to do something crazy.
No. I mean, I've always been around music and always been around bands, but I was, the supportive one in the background, who kept the band house together and got everybody fed and, and this and that, and had 3 little kids and, all the rest of it. So, yeah, it was kind of the last thing I imagined doing. But
you had 3 kids while you guys were going through Dead Moon and all that?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The Rats?
Well, especially in the Rats, they were younger. In Dead Moon, they were pretty much all grown up. We had kids very young, so. So, which was cool. Dead Moon was our second childhood, our time to just do the stuff most kids do in their 20s. We
But
did
you
in
know
our
what?
40s.
I think that I think it's really exciting to hear that you can do something like that when you're in your 30s and 40s.
Yeah,
That
there's no time limit on it. No, no.
There's always time to do something, no matter what your age and
Sure.
stage.
I agree.
You have quite the legacy, you know, when I think about Pearl Jam and Cat Power doing Rats music,
Mhm.
that's big.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
They heard something. They heard something
Yeah.
in your music.
Yeah, and a lot of it was, again, it was Fred's songwriting is just incredibly universal and timeless, and has appealed to many, many musicians, and influenced quite a few that grew up as kids in the Northwest and heard us play both in the Rats and later in Dead Moon.
Thoughts on the Portland scene now? Do you get out there very much to hear anything?
Every once in a while, I kind of do this mental exercise where I pick up, whatever, the paper and look in there, and I'm lucky if I recognize one or two band names out of all the cast coming through the Crystal and all the smaller venues and whatever. But I love the particular cycle of musical life that Portland has and has always had and probably always will. That there's always the ones that come up, reach their 15 minutes of fame or sometimes longer, and then the young kids that are continually wanting to play music, and the small clubs that come and go and this and that are the forum for the training to get up on stage, do your thing, hone your craft, all the rest of it. And it's amazing from the Northwest period, and in Portland especially, to have as many artists for basically what most people considered a small town or small city, to have reached the kind of international notoriety that a lot of Portland artists have. It's per capita, I think it's pretty amazing.
It's really amazing to think how many people have come here on the strength of word.
Yep.
Well, Toody, congratulations.
Thank you.
The Rats and Dead.
Yeah, exactly. Appreciate it.